The box. You opened it. We came. Yeah, well, no one fucking invited you, mate. This is my gaff. If you're coming here, mate, unannounced, at least have the courtesy to bring some ale with you, some whiskey, some lager, some beers. Fucking you with your fucking nails in your head. Oh, the box, yeah. Oh, I opened it. Hardly a fucking Rubik Cube, is it? Did it in seconds, you Nancy boy. Go on, you pasty-faced bastards. Sling your hooks and chains and get out of here. Go on, you're not welcome here. Go on, fuck off back to hell. Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? People are doing very, very well. As you can gather, yes, I've had dabblings with demons. I've been playing with the box again. You know what happens. You come home, you've had a few bevies, you get into bed. Oh, there's that box. I'll have a little play around with that. See what happens. Ooh, spectral little blue lights come up. The rafters, the shutters, and strange lights and wind and spookiness. And then that bunch of delinquents turn up thinking they're big and hard. Oh yeah, I've got machetes, mate. Get the fuck out of here, pinhead. You dickhead, more like. No, folks, I'm going to talk a little about this. A little bit about this. This is a new one to me. I'll put it down for a second and give you some introduction to this. I love Hellraiser. I love Hellraiser, the first one. Hellraiser, well, Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, love that. Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. I really don't revisit that one ever, to be honest. And all that followed, no. Some of them which I haven't even seen at all because I just gave up on it completely. I mean, Doug Bradley playing Pinhead, you know, obviously it was a decent learner for him, but the films were shite. And Barker's original novella, The Hellbound Heart, is outstanding. Now, I've covered Hellraiser before and Hellbound. I've covered them a fair bit in the past. And in the past, on one of those videos, certainly, my young protege, not so young now, because he's aging, like I'm aging as well, before your very eyes. And this young guy here, for the purposes of the Hellraiser video, I put a load of nails into his head. He didn't argue. I used that date rape drug on him. I've used it many times. Sorry, mate. And they lasted for the course of the video. But when I'd done the video, it's like he had some kind of Wolverine healing ability, and suddenly his little impish skin forced the nails back out again, and they were pinging everywhere. It was like a little Nomi nail gun. They were flying. It was like, fucking hell, Jesus Christ, ping, God almighty. And yeah, so I would have done it for this video, but no, I've learned from that one, so I won't be doing that again. Banging nails into a friend's head is not a good idea. Trust me. So anyway, folks, what have I got for you right now? In that previous, or one of the previous videos, I showed you this. It's here somewhere. The Lament Configuration. And that's the small, sort of Rubik Cube style version, which can swivel and do all sorts on the air. But, you know, it's tiny. It's not quite the prop you want if you're a Hellraiser fan. And, you know, it's great. And it did serve a couple of videos, and it looks good on a shelf. It looks fine. But afterwards, after I got that, a new version came out, and it was super expensive. It was ridiculously expensive. But oh, this one comes apart and does what it does in the movie. Yeah, no, it doesn't. But that's how it was touted. And it was dead expensive, so I thought, like, oh, I'd love that, but I'm not buying it. Anyway, lying in bed, literally 3 nights ago, I was just scrolling, doom scrolling, literally in this case. But I thought, like, oh, Hellraiser popped into my head, as it does. Oh, the Lament Configuration. The Lamar-chan box. How much is that going for now, I wonder? Ooh, it was very cheap. Very cheap, what he tells you. And I thought, it was, I think, £16. But you're going to go like, well, when I show you, you're going to like, £16 for that piece of old tat. It was a hell of a lot more to begin with. And yes, it's made in China. Where all the demonic machinations come from to destroy our real world. Don't get political, Kilty. Stop it now. It come down in price. I thought, oh fuck it, I'm buying it. And it arrived the very next day. And I know this box, this particular thing, because it's a lot of different companies make this, but it's the same friggin' box, the same design. It's all, the actual design on it is the same as in Hellraiser. With that gold Brigadio. There's a design which I have mangled there, but that's the gold and black and burnish sort of design effect. And so it arrived the next day, and so but I went to bed and I thought, oh, I forgot. Oh God, this thing arrived. Oh, I went to bed, and like the Mrs. Kilt-Man said, you know, you've got 2 packages here as well, like one of which you're gonna see in the next video. That's much different and a hell of a lot better, I'm sure. But she was, oh, and I went, oh, is it a smaller box? And she went, yeah. And she brought this up to me, and it was the Lament Configuration. And I'll show you the box it came in. The box. You opened it. It's just a puzzle box. No, it is a means to summon us. Well, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Explorers in the outer regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to others. It's fantastic. I have discussed this a lot, so I'm not going to go massively into the whole Pinhead and Cenobite sort of saga and mythology. But here's the box it came in. Right, look, you can see. Look, oh, lovely Lament Configuration there. Oh, that's great. And you turn it round. I don't know if you can see this. It's someone's sofa. It's a fucking sofa. You're like, what the hell's that got to do with, a hellish Cenobite box to summon demons? Sadomasochists from beyond the grave. And it's like another design on the front there, but and another one on this side of, you can't see it, can you? I know you can't, but take it from me, it's a sofa with cushions, lovely throw pillows. You're fucking having a laugh, aren't you? And then the little barcode, and it does say Hellraiser puzzle box, and then made in China. So there's probably also like, secret spying devices that are in here or in the box itself. So anyway, I was in bed and she brought it up to me, and I know that on lots of YouTube channels and platforms and feedback about people buying this, I can't work it out. It doesn't work, and they send it back. It's stiff. It doesn't work. There's no puzzle to it. I can't open it at all. Oh, it doesn't work. And then you've got, I kid you not, I'm not going to link to them because fuck them. There's people, dickheads, who are showing you how to work this box. And there's definitely one guy there who I saw, like, he was listed. I thought, oh, you're fucking having a laugh, aren't you? He took it, you can't open this, it's impossible. You need a screwdriver to do that. And I thought, I'm not watching this. You don't need a fucking screwdriver. I did it. Opened that little box there, and took out the box within, the demonic Cenobite, summoning box. And I went, okay, right. You're holding it. I'm going to show you right now. There's the box. I did it straight away. Now, I'm not being, Kilt-Man. Oh, you're so fucking amazing. You did a little, replica movie horror box in seconds. It's not a puzzle at all. There is no puzzle to it. It's just 2 pieces slotted together, but you can remove one piece, turn it round to form another configuration, and then bring it back again and all that. Like, but it's still, if you don't know what you're doing with it and you can't work it out, then I can imagine it probably is a little bit, ooh, can't do this. But, unless you're a full-on retard with, and your arms end at your elbows, you've got thumbs and you've got these, and it's that and that in conjunction which work the configuration. So anyway, here it is. Here's the box. It's still not the proper size for the movie, which I can't quite believe they haven't done that. There probably are replicas out there. In fact, I know there are, but a lot of these are custom made. The box in the movies is uniformly bigger than this, but this is still considerably bigger than that. Yeah, little Rubik Cube version, which is still nice. Do not get me wrong. I like that. That was great. But this is the best, affordable version you're going to get. And the designs are exactly on par with the original. Of course, the original, you put your thumb in it and you go round. You go round the ring. You thumb the ring. You finger it. And then suddenly, if you... Because in the movies, it's not quite like a set design of movements. It's all spiritual and esoterical and purely demonical as well. And then suddenly, whoa, little teardrops of really naff visual laser blue effects come out of it. And I love Hellraiser. The practical effects and the makeup are fantastic, of course. But the visual effects on the first two are really rather shoddy and very low rent. It adds to the charm of the movie, but they are what they are. The laser blue lights are really a bit cheesy. Anyway, so you don't need to do any of that shit. But look at the design, the brocadaccio. That is that design. The gold and the black and intricate sort of design work is brocadaccio. Should have note to self, before you do a video, Kilt-Man, just get your notes in order and know what the hell you're talking about. But the reason why I mention that is because I sat in bed when I first unwrapped, the Amazon packaging, and that got the box, the Chinese box out of it, and then got this box. And I sat there in a weird sort of half light from the bedside lamp on Mrs. Kilt-Man's side. She wasn't there. She brought it up to me, but I'd gone to bed earlier, so she wasn't actually lying next to me. That would have been shocking enough. Who needs... Pinhead might have been a fucking, relief from the nightmarish Mrs. Kilt-Man lying there. Hey, Jess, she's good. Like what's it called? Heart to Heart. When they met, it was murder. Here's Mrs. Hart. She's gorgeous. Yeah, well, Mrs. Kilt-Man is gorgeous. So, but that weird light from the bedside lamp, and I was doing this, and it was catching the light, and it was quite atmospheric. I'll be honest, but I clocked that hanging off. We got several wardrobes, and hanging off one and another one, and the door frame. Mrs. Kilt-Man's got almost as many dresses and blouses as I've got kilts. That's a fucking lot of material. And they're hanging off, on coat hooks and all that, like coat hangers, or hooks again, you see. And a lot of them, and I'd never realised this, a lot of what Mrs. Kilt-Man wears, and you do see it occasionally in videos, and if you're on social media, you'll see lots of pictures of me and Mrs. Kilt-Man out and about, drinking together, and she wears little tops and little dresses that are similar to this, and I never realised or clocked onto it. And of course, this is, well, Mrs. Kilt-Man is basically this. She is an enigma wrapped in suspense and drama. Could have gone somewhere else with that. And with the perfume of pure mystery about her. An enigma wrapped in a puzzle, you know. And of course, once you begin to unwrap and get to the bottom of that puzzle, well, hell breaks loose, does it not? So she's been wearing this sort of stuff all the time. I'm linked to pure demonology. Anyway, so you're all saying, well, Kilt-Man, you reckon people can't do this? The complaints people have made about this, it's too stiff, the box doesn't work, it's meant to come apart, I can't do it. And they've sent them back and complained about it. And even on some of the videos, I watched a couple of videos, and the girl doing it, and it's not like me doing it, and you can see me making a fool of myself. It was just her hands, you know, and she's like, rah, rah, rah. And all you gotta do is this, you know, and she couldn't do it. She fucked it up. And then she did it, finally. And then, as you'll see, I'll do it, and then you've got to put it back again. It forms another configuration, and then you've got to remove that, turn it back, and put it back together like this again. And she fucked up on both. Now, the camera is one of those things where any fallibility you've got, it's going to reveal it. And no trick editing, no cutting away. I'm going to fuck this. I am so going to fuck this up now. Because I've been drinking. It's a Freedom Friday, and I've been out. I'm not sure what time it is right now. I've been out for a long time. You can probably tell. I've had lager. I've had Murphy's. I've had whiskey. And I'm now drinking the final bit of whiskey in the hizzy. It's a little miniature of Jack Daniels. I'm just gonna have this. Don't mind. Not all of it. I'm not being greedy. That was a bit of a fizzy slurp there, wasn't it? You're hearing Christopher Young's score for the first Hellraiser. He scored Hellraiser and Hellbound Hellraiser 2. And they are wonderful, gothic, deep, rich, redolent, frightening, suspenseful, really big scores. Anyway, look, right. The box. It's gorgeous, isn't it? So, I bet you I can't fucking do it now. No, we're there. Oh, sorry. You want little blue lights, little blue teardrops coming out of it. And then it should automatically swivel round. And then you go. The new configuration. Can you see? In the film, you know, once you've done the thumb maneuver, you know, it just goes, oh, and you it's doing things itself, and it rises. The fire rises, and it comes up and it swivels around, reconnects again. It's doing its own fucking thing. Oh shit! So to get back from that, which is a lovely little configuration, I'll be honest, but the cube is certainly far more, I don't know, iconic. Right. Kadoosh. Dead simple, he says, dropping it back. Dead simple. And you swivel it back. It goes back again. And of course, you're going to make sure that you've got the design on each face correct. Because you could do it the other way around and it'd be all to cock. But that is a wonderful little replica. And it is a puzzle. It's got two fucking pieces. I'll show you again. It's got two pieces. The insides are interesting. It does feel, it feels good when you raise half of the box. There you go, look, two boxes, the two halves of it. Look at that. Like Maximilian in the black hole with his his drill bit, thing. It's like they're his nipples. If they were demonic red, they'd be his nipples. I've now done the thing I shouldn't have done. I've now swiveled these round. Like what cup's it under? You put like the ball or a marble under a cup, 3 plastic cups, and you swivel them all around. If you know what you're doing, you know where that cup, that marble is all the time. But you punt it, your victim doesn't. It's all sleight of hand. It's an easy trick to learn. You can do it, I know. But if you lose, if you forget what you've done, you can't do the trick yourself. And I've just swiveled this round completely, and I have no idea where I am with it. But anyway, that is not the way it goes in. This is the way it goes in. It goes back. It's very robustly made, which is important in this house because the cat, who was here only a couple of minutes ago, and she sauntered off, and she sees this sort of thing, and she's seen me playing with this, and it glitters, it's shiny, it's interesting, and the cat's eyes are like, ooh, I'm having that. But all she wants to do with it is just knock it off the surface and break it on the floor and then flick all the broken bits around. That's what her intentions are. That's the pure demon. That's the Cenobite for you. To make misery out of pleasure. It comes with a little stand. I'll show you this, if I know where I put it. Here it is. And it's the most steggiest, cheapest piece of tat ever. I mean, don't look, for God's sake, does it really matter? You can make your own stand for it. So it's that, just a little triangular piece, a little pyramidical piece, and you sit it in there like so. And it can look, you can't see the stand, but it's the same sort of aesthetic colour. You know what I mean? I'll put it on here. Put it on here. Could you excuse me for a moment, little gargoyle? Don't know if you can see that. Not too well at all. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Now the problem with that is that scuffs. You can see a little scuff mark there. It very quickly scuffs. That's not in the same quality as the box itself. But if you're going to just put it on a shelf and you've got no prowling feline predators, no mischievous moggies, you can put that on your shelf, and there's when your guests come round. Yeah, oh, you've got the Lament Configuration. You go, oh yes, we have, yeah. We've got a Ouija board as well. Do you want to stay for some chain whipped fun later on? Ooh. So it can sit there on a shelf and look quite nice. If you light it well, it burnishes gold. And but we know in this house the cat's gonna that's gonna be skittled. So I've got to look out for that. That I will not be using it with this. If I was skillful, I would craft my own base for this. But anyway. So yeah, I really, really enjoy this. I just wish it was like, I don't know, another inch. And I've heard this before. I just wish it's good, but an inch bigger would be better. I've heard that somewhere before. I can't quite put my finger on it. But if it was slightly bigger, it would be more movie authentic. But it's great. For those of you out there that have struggled with this, I'll tell you. I told my son about this. So Hellraiser puzzle box, and he went, I haven't seen the movies. And I went, you haven't seen? I haven't shown you Hellraiser? Really? No, you haven't. I know of it, but I haven't watched it. So try and do this box then. And I gave him the basic stuff of it, and it was probably the best way of doing it, really. Look, it's a puzzle. I said to him, it's in 2 pieces, and you can work use your fingers and your thumbs. Oh, what else you gonna use? Your earlobes and your fucking tongue, Kilt-Man. You know, and just feel around and see what moves and see if you can work it out. His first attempt, my son's got a bit of OCD. He's very patient, and he's the games designer for Sony PlayStation. Yeah, he's a bit of a big league player, and he gave it like about 90 seconds. He assessed the box, right, and I was watching. I thought, you're gonna do this, aren't you? I can't hoping he wouldn't, and he didn't do it first time. He said, there's no, you can't make it out. So I went, look, and I took it off him, and I went, look. I didn't show him exactly how to do it, but I went like, ooh, look at this, I'm David Blaine. Look at me. Took it out, turned it around, reconfigured it. He went, okay. And I went, no, I'll put it back the way it was. So, whoop. Oh, did it wrong then. Gave it to him. And you know what? He went, and he fucking did it straight away. I went, ah! He said, no, I've seen where the fingers are and like what you do, and like, yeah. And I think what it is, when you first get the box, you're looking like this. The smaller one, which is the Rubik Cube style, you know, you're looking for swivelly bits, and it doesn't work like that. It's not that principle at all. It is just basically two fucking pieces. So anyway, so he sussed it out, but I gave it to Mrs. Kilt-Man, who has the patience of a saint. Are they saints? Are they sinners? The time of this recording, Sinners, the film Sinners, has got, what is it, 16 Oscar nominations. I've reviewed the film, I loved it. But 16 nominations for a horror movie? I should be celebrating, but I'm also like, well, I hate the Oscars for one thing. I fucking despise them. I hate any of these awards, the Golden Globes, all that shit. If Ricky Gervais is hosting it, then I'm interested. But beyond that, the actual awards themselves, who's asked? You're basically watching it to see the obituaries, everyone who's died in the last year. And there'll be loads you didn't remember or never heard about. But beyond that, awards, I don't give two fucks about them. Anyway, so I gave it to Mrs. Kilt-Man, and who's got the patience, as I say, of a saint. And she was like analysing it and scrutinising it, looking at it, feeling all the way around, every face, trying to find the little hooks. They're inside, aren't they? If you do it correctly, find the grooves and make it move, and I lost patience myself. I went like, oh, fucking give it here. I'll give you a clue. So I showed it, but she was sitting down. I was standing up, and I went like, look, and it rose. I swiveled it and put it down, and then she went, I gave it to her like that, and she went, okay. I looked at it in its new configuration. I said, I'll give it back, and I'll put it back the way it was. See if you can follow what I've done. The principle is there. It's two pieces. And so I did it again. I put it back in, and then gave it back to her. And she still couldn't do it. In fact, she hasn't done it yet. She's tried probably about 3 times in entirety, about 3 times. But it does show you, I think maybe it works on a certain fundamental level of what your brain and your fingers can do, But once you've got the principle of it, it should be... I can't fucking do it now. Look at that, I can't do it now. There we go. I'm always below, aren't I? Let's go. I'll do it again. No. It's coming. It loses all. You gotta go and do all this, and then you gotta turn it around. It does make a nice little clunk. It looks like a Dracula's medallion, doesn't it? The Bela Lugosi Dracula's medallion. Oh, it should be with a big blood red ruby in it and all that, like. But it's kind of similar to that. Anyway, but look at that. Lovely, nice, bizarre, geometrical shape. With, you know, definitely satanic sort of, oh fuck, now I've lost it again. You're having a laugh. You're having a laugh, mate. I can't do it now. No, I can't do it. No. Maybe a certain sequence which does jam the whole thing. Oh, no. There we go. I did think though, I thought, oh shit, I've screwed it up. And then you go, you'll watch here. Yeah. If you got that the wrong way around, that pattern will not be correct. It'll slot in, but it'd be incorrect. It'll be wrong. So the guy that made this for the movie was, I've got his name here somewhere. Simon Says. That's his name. Like Simon Says, play with the box. Summon demons. Nah, Simon didn't say. Name is Simon Says. Sayce. Yeah, that's right. And he had to make lots of these little boxes for the first. I don't know if he did the first movie. I'm not sure he did the second movie, and obviously what went on. Because don't forget, in the movie, you've got like ones which is a solid box. People are standing there with a box, you know, like, and then the ones that move, which are obviously there's mechanical props in there which are going to make it move and do its own sort of thing. But they're not that advanced. But he made loads because they kept dropping the fucking things, and it took him eight hours to make a new box. Not bad, to be honest, but you know, but you've got to put all the workings into it. Then you know that's pretty drastic, you know, and yeah, and obviously chipping into the budget somewhat. But it's a great concept, a puzzle box which is, you know, a doorway to another dimension to bring in, you know, and the thing about the Lament Configuration, Lamar Chan's box, the people that seek it out are seeking, you know, the most perverse, disastrous, hurtful, agonizing pleasures in existence, in any realm, this or any other fucking dimension. But it's word of mouth and esoterics and old scripts and scrolls and you know the Necronomicon basically. It is the what's the fucking word again? Necronomicon ex mortis, but in cube form. You know, you solve it, or you say the incantation and you read it aloud from the pages of the book. All hell breaks loose. But if that's what you want, that's what you're going to get. And as Pinhead says, you know, demons to some because they're fucking, you know, they rip you apart and give you all the pleasures and pains ever conceived, and a lot beyond that. But angels to others because that's what they want. That's what they want. And Barker was brilliant at this, at evoking that sort of, you know, it's pleasure and pain, it's horror, but it's also beauty at the same time. The thing about Pinhead himself, a guy with a bunch of nails banged into his fucking, you know, almost white ceramic head. It looks ridiculous, but when you see me, like, that's pretty fucking cool. That is really, really cool. It's gruesome, but it's also kind of ethereal and beautiful at the same time. And of course, his diction and his vocabulary and what he says is so beautifully profound. But it's all like, you know, it's doom laden, but it's brilliant. So Barker, certainly back in that day when he knew no bounds, he was writing and pushing everything, and it worked. And this began to move of its own accord then. I didn't even push anything, and suddenly it began to rise. Wouldn't it be great? Well, it'd be great for you guys if this began to do its own thing. Like the Wonka bars. Every one in a million's got a fucking, you know, golden ticket in it. You know, 1 in a million of these fucking things, especially made in China, has got real demonics inside it, and certain lucky/unlucky recipients work it out, and suddenly you've got a new COVID virus. You know what I'm saying. But this is gorgeous, and you can reconfigure your fingerage, and I thought you could. No, you've got to do it. It's got to be done a certain way. You've got to push down and push up at the same time. There you go. Inside again, like hollow, yeah. Any UK viewers remember from the 60s and 70s Picture Box or Picture Book? Picture Book was a kids TV show, super fucking creepy actually. The main theme, and it was a little glass box, but the theme and it sort of span round, and the music played over it and all that, like Picture Book, and the story would be told to you. But it was weird, and also it's either Trumpton or Chigley or Camberwick Green. People my age and older will know what I'm talking about. These were kids' TV shows with like puppets and that, like. And there was one where a magical box sort of span round like that, a musical box, and it would open. It unfurled little triangular petals at the top, and as you watched, and it was spinning round, playing this mesmerising main theme music, a character would come up from within, and the show would then tell the story. Yeah, Windy Miller was part of that. Windy Miller was he owned a windmill, and even back then in the early 70s, late 60s, on the kids' TV show, Windy Miller, he likes to drink cider, and cider makes him happy and tired. He's chugging, cider, having big jugs of cider, and he sit down, pisses a fart. It was brilliant. It was fucking brilliant. But the windmill used to make this famous sound effect. But if you watched it, he'd walk into the windmill itself through the doorway. But these fucking sails, the windmill, are going around like that, and you just walk in, and he's been drinking cider. It's like he's fucking pisses a fart. He'd be cutting off, He'd be cutting off. He would. Let's turn it back around again. So there we go. So Christopher Young did the scores for the first two Hellraiser movies, and they are outstanding. Here in the first one, the themes, the main grandiose themes, were carried over into Hellraiser, Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. And then Hellraiser Hell on Earth came out a little bit later on. Sort of, was it mid 90s or early 90s, 93, 94? I don't even remember. And the Cenobites were brought into the real world, and New York streets, and it was popular at the time. There was a few good gore effects, a few good gags. You had that instead of the Lament Configuration, which I think was in there at some point, but you had the spinning carousel thing of all the twisted souls, and all their faces were in there, and Pinhead was in there, And he was a nightclub owner, was bringing people to be devoured by this spinning thing, and he was gaining life. Pinhead was gaining life from it, and then he came out into real world, and he took over the nightclub, and he had CD head and all that. The DJ had CDs all over him, and he had they were razor tipped, and he was killing cops with them and all that. And it was fucking stupid. It really was stupid. We got flashbacks into Pinhead's prior life as Captain Elliot Spencer. I may have got that wrong. First World War English Army captain, who you saw in Hellbound Hellraiser 2 when he gets zapped by Dr. Chenard, Kenneth Branagh. The doctor is in the house. Hellbound Hellraiser 2 is great, but it's too ambitious. It tries to show us hell, Leviathan, and it tries to show us that, which is great. It's a great concept. The big labyrinth and the maze and all that. It's great. But when Dr. Chenard meets Pinhead and his buddies from the first movie, he takes them out in he won a big grandiose battle there, and we'd earned it by that stage, but Peter Atkins, who directed it, didn't deliver that, I didn't think. I still like the film, but Hellraiser, the first one, is still the better one. But Hell on Earth, Hellraiser 3, I play the scores to the first two a lot, and then because I knew I was going to do a video on this box, I began to play Hellraiser 3 from Randy Miller. I mentioned Windy Miller, didn't I? Oh, have I just done this? I've just done this, haven't I? I'm going in fucking circles here. Windy Miller, and then you got Randy Miller. I think all Millers are Randy and a bit windy. If you drink inside it, you're going to be fucking windy as well. Now, I've got the very limited edition. I think only 3,000 copies were made. This is years and years ago. You're seeing the box there for it. The box again from was it Vares Sarabandi? I think the scores to the first three movies, and you can see it's battered. This is battered. It's all like ripped flesh. Jesus wept. Yeah. And it's a lovely little box set of all the scores for the first few movies. Oh, fuck it. Can't be arsed putting it up properly. Well, limited edition, and I've just wrecked the 3 CDs. Lucky I've put them on this, but Randy Miller's score for Hellbound Hellraiser 3 is actually pretty damn good, because I began to play it because I knew he was going to do this video. I'd always ignored it. I thought, oh shit, no, it's not Christopher Young. Christopher Young, I've covered a lot, and had dealings with it as well for his Nosferatu score for the original movie, not for the Robert Eggers version. No, I'm not going down that road again. But let's just play a little bit of Hellraiser 3. It is here. It's actually really good. There's a lot more action in this movie. You got Pinhead going through a church and all that. Yeah. The twisted iconography of the crucifixion. Yeah, it sounds more like, that's pure Hollywood and energetic and action. It works. And I've listened to this a few times in the last, 24 hours. And he brings in the Lament Configuration theme, the Hellraiser theme. He brings them in. And it's actually really, really an enjoyable score. It doesn't have the lyrical sort of lullaby downtimes and the creepy little quiet moments which Chris Young put in. It's more bombastic all the way through, really. you've got choral voices as well. I wish I hadn't dropped that CD box set. The discs were fine, the packaging was gnarled, but and I can't even blame the cat for that. Throwback, slightly a variant, but you know what, we're in the same ballpark. It has got, it's going for the grandiose there. He's harking back to Chris Young, but no one can do gothic grandiose like Chris Young can do. No one, no one. But he tries, and he's doing really well. But he's adding the Hollywood action and, you know, the glitz and the fucking propulsion and all that, like making it more energetic, less dreamy and ethereal and surreal. So you do get a fair bit of like punchy action and aggressiveness. But I've suddenly found a new affection for this score. Anyway, folks, I'm just going to swig the last of this. I'm going to go out again. you know I am. It's Friday. I have another big unboxing to do, which will be tomorrow now. A canvas, and I have a feeling it's going to be fucking wicked. Absolutely. Not, I don't mean green witches and fucking all that. Ah, shit. No. This is going to be wild, feral, dare I say it, wolfish and ferocious. I think. I could be wrong. I'm not going to be wrong. Listen. He's adding a lot of stuff to this. He's going for it. Randy Miller, a composer that I don't really know. I don't think I've got anything else by him. I may have. I really don't know his resume. But he's clearly heard what Chris Young did. I'm going to adopt that. I'm going to be a bit more grandiose, a bit more, I'm going to bring gothic in, but yeah, the story's a bit more action-packed. There's big set pieces of mass carnage, so I'm going to have to like drive things up a bit. It isn't just like people in a house with like some skin in the sky, you know, up in the attic, pinning pinning rats to a wall. Something I was Jonathan Watts there, wasn't I? Pinning rats to a wall. Dear God. But can you hear the little snippets of the original themes coming in? I like the way he's done that. So once again, here's the first box. That's not bad. You know the Rubik Cube? I couldn't do the Rubik Cube at all. And this is a Rubik Cube version. Couldn't do it. I could do two sides. And of course, back in the day, there was books that came out, tutorial books. You didn't have YouTube, you didn't have the internet. But then he brought out like VHS cassettes on how to do it. And TV shows were like, oh, the big craze was the Rubik Cube. And like, you'd have people going like, why couldn't you hate those cunts in school? They got Rubik Cube. And they give it to you, you mess it all, you go, you fucking stamp on it, you take the stickers off and put other stickers on, yeah. And they go like, done. Kill him! Fucking nerdy bastard. How'd you do it? What magic, what black magic have you got? That's pure voodoo, man. And I can never do it. And that version is, without doubt, the Rubik Cube version. I can't. I won't fuck around with it because I never get back. I never get back the patterns on it. This one's fucking doddle. I don't care what anyone says. It's super, super simple. Get your fingers in the right place and magic happens. You know what I'm saying. And then you can play with the box as well. I know for a fact that my mum, Mrs. Kilt-Mama, Big Kilt-Mama, let's get the fucking name right. If that had come out back when I was a kid, this had come out, she would not have allowed it in the house. I guarantee it. Big Kilt-Mama was the woman that, although she an actress on stage and screen and knew a lot of movie stars and actors from the stage, and was very literate, well read, and was Irish. That's important, that Irish. And I brought the book Dracula in. I've got several copies of Dracula from Bram Stoker, and but the first copy I got it in 1979. I'd be 9 or 10 years old in 1979, and the John Badham version of Dracula came out with Frank Langella, Kate Nelligan, Jan Francis, Trevor Eve, Frank Finlay, and I loved it. But the book that I got, which you've seen, I've actually shown it on videos 3 times, because the other copies of Dracula that I've got, they are hardback, and they're just literally the most boring looking books ever. They're old, but I've got them later in life and expensive, but they're pointless because there's no point showing them because they're useless. But the copy I always show, it's got Frank Langella on the front. The book got republished to coincide with the 1979 John Badham version, and there's photos in the middle of it, and it's a great little book to have. Well, I come back with that from Alberson's bookshop in Wallasey Village. I come back and I said, I've got this, Mum. And because I'd sat and watched Bela Lugosi and Christopher Lee as Dracula with me mum, and she loved them, and I sat and was educated in the ways of movies with her. I've discussed this many, many times on the channel, and she went, Christopher, you're eating shit then, you get the full name. Christopher, I do not want that book in this house. Well, what? Why? What? It's just a book. We watched the movie. I want to read. No, I don't want that book in this house. Well, as you know, I still have that book now. I never lost that book. I hid it from my mum, and she just. But I don't know. And like Bram Stoker was Irish. She's Irish. Well, and like, you love the movies. What did she think was so infernal about that book? She wasn't fussed on The Exorcist either. William Peter Blatty's novel. She did not like that being in the house. But my mum would do this occasionally. Don't forget, I grew up in a house with Big Kilt-Mama, Big Kilt-Papa, and Big Kilt-Papa, Big Fred Mack, who was the military historian, absolutely notorious, hugely renowned. Gave lectures and talks and had the biggest collection of bayonets. His speciality was bayonets. They're the pointy things that stick on the end of a rifle. You know, and you run out of bullets. You got that left. Stick it in, twist it, and if you're lucky enough, you can throw them over your back. Shish kebab 'em. And so our house, I grew up in a house full of weaponry, and real guns and knives and everything. Zulu shields and assegais, spears, suits of armour, propellers from Luftwaffe, Bren guns, Vickers guns, everything was there. And my mum didn't really take umbrage with any of that. Even though the Nazi regalia that my dad, Nazi stuff was always the biggest seller. I mean, Dad was a wheeler and dealer as well. So he'd buy stuff in, it was great, he'd clean it up and he'd polish it up, or he'd age it. He'd make things which are a bit newer, he'd make them look like they were 20, 30 or even 100 years older. And he'd get away with it. He knew the oldie worldly tricks of doing that. And but Mum didn't mind any of that. However, my dad had these weird, like African, how do you call them, juju men, like sort of demonic masks made out of like straw and hay and just bits of dried fucking pampas grass or whatever, and a demonic face made out of mahogany, painted with demonic eyes and eyebrows and fangs and all that, like. And you could wear these things, and he had those, and my mum was like, "Get those out of the house now!" And my dad was like, "Oh," I mean, that was a big guy, like, nothing, hon, nothing, and he hit them. He didn't get rid of them at all, and I found them up in there. One of them, their house was almost as big as this house, with many rooms and attics and cellars and fucking armories and all that, like bunkers you could call them, I suppose. And one time, I'd be about 12 years old, and I was up looking at muskets in one of the rooms, like look at muskets, and I cut, what's that over there? And I saw like a big bunch of like sort of weird, sort of straw-like hair coming out from like a cabinet, behind a cabinet. And I had a look, and it's one of these fucking juju men. They're big, and they're big. They're like fucking huge, long masks. And like, I said to my dad, "You've got them fucking juju men." He said, "Oh yeah, I kept them, mate. But don't tell your mum." And I went, "I've still got a copy of Dracula and The Exorcist." It's like, "Well, it's our secret then, son. It's our secret." It's weird. It's just so weird that my mum would take, real like effrontery. Get that out. Dracula's a fucking literary giant. My mum was well read. I'm sure she was actually in a stage production of Dracula. Why would she hate the fucking book being in the house? Maybe it just I don't know, inflames some kind of deep-seated fear. I don't know. But the reason I'm saying that is because if I'd have got that, that would have been, "Christopher, what is that?" If she knew the film, or even if she didn't, I've got a feeling, without even knowing Hellraiser or the Hellbound Heart, Barker's novella, she'd have gone like, "What is that? It's evil!" And she'd have fucking launched it out the fucking window. It would have gone. Back then, though, we had a dog called Mac, and Mac would have gone after it. He'd have dived through the rest of the window and come back with it. Here it is. Mac had a habit of jumping through glass. He'd done it. He had previous. That house, we had the front door was plate glass, thick corrugated plate glass. Just a door frame and glass floor to the top of the door, and then the vestibule. That's a little hallway between the front door and another door, and that was all glass as well, the exact same fucking thing. And we used to have a window cleaner, which our dog hated, fucking despised that window cleaner. And he'd come up and he obviously ladders would go up against the bay windows and the front door and all that, and to keep the dog back. Mac would be like, "Ah!" And Mac was a Heinz 57. He was a pure. When mongrel was actually a dog breed. Oh, what kind of dog's that? Oh, it's a mongrel. You go, oh, I know. It's like every other breed into one. Now we're all mongrels. We're all fucking diverse. We've got so much. Do your DNA, you'll find out. And anyway, the window cleaner come up, and some other we'd forgotten to put the dog in the back kitchen, and the dog had a run down all the hallways, and he went straight through the vestibule glass door and the front door and hit the ladder and took the guy out in a big sea of broken glass. Now, back in the 70s when this happened, no one complained. Oh, dogs were savaging people left, right and centre and leaving white dog turds. This was the era of the white dog turd, which was, if you stepped in it wasn't sludgy. You step in and you go, "Oh, stepped in shit," but it was white and crumbly. It was like chalk. It would leave no stain on your boot. There'd be nothing in the grooves of your boot or your shoe. It was just nice and crumbly. But dogs were left. You open the door in the morning, the dog went out, and joined his pack mates, and off they went, rampaging round town. And Mac was always part of that. And he'd come back in the evening for his tea, and it was great. That was then. So he took out the window cleaner, who cascaded off a ladder, boof, landed in broken glass, was cut, and then attacked by the dog. And didn't complain, and still came back to clean the windows afterwards, once we got the fucking front doors repaired. And here's the thing for you folks. So the dog went, and no injury to the dog at all, and no real injury to the window cleaner that I'm owning up to. I was young, wasn't in control, not my problem. We got those doors replaced with more big, thick, corrugated sort of style glass. Front door, vestibule door. Mac had died at this stage. Mac, the dog, had died, and I was out playing in our front garden. Now, you've got to know that house was at the top of a dual carriageway. Yes, a dual carriageway, right by a big roundabout. The top of, many of you guys know what I'm talking about. Liso Road, the top of Liso Road. There's a big front garden, and it's a dual carriageway. It's a fucking big house. There's a roundabout. It's busy all the time, like. But my dad loved it. It was central, and he had loads of people coming to see him and wheel and deal and buy and sell and all this kind of stuff going on. And he loved it all because he was such a huge character. And but they replaced those doors with glass, and the front garden alternated between being a garden of grass and being paved over. My dad just couldn't leave alone. He kept on changing things and we're going to pave it over again. Anyway, it was paved over, and me and one of my mates were playing footy in the front garden. Big bus stop over the road, loads of shops over the road, big roundabout, buses going past, dead busy. See, an audience all the time, and we were fucking about and playing about. Be what again? I don't know. 8? No. 10, 11, 12, something like that. Playing out with footy, and got the shorts on and all that, dicking about. And two girls come past, and Wolf whistled, and you know, in the year after this event, I changed a lot, and suddenly girls and women became the huge thing for me, and I gave a huge thing to them, or so I thought. And they both whistled, and we both got that embarrassed. They were really super. Oh my god! Oh, there's girls! Oh god! What are we gonna do? And my mate ran into the house before me, and he pushed open the front door, and then pushed the vestibule door open, and he was stood there. And as I ran, the shame of this, as I ran behind him, I thought he'd shut the door on me to leave me out there in me shorts and my little hard on, with these girls going, oh, look at you, oh, and all this kind of shit, and so I thought he'd done that. So I put my hand out to hit the door frame and push the door open, but the door shut, and I pushed through the glass instead. So like Mac, the dog, but he came through from the inside, I went through from the outside, and I plunged through that glass door, and I'm wearing a t-shirt and shorts, and I came through it. And as my mate, even to this day, will tell you, I saved your life that day, because I elbowed the vestibule door open, because he was stood there and he stepped aside as I come crashing through. But he said your head was going to go through the other glass door and it would have been cut off. So he opened that, but I came through the first door and was lying there in all this glittering sea of broken glass, all shining and scintillating and glowing and gleaming, and I went complete delirious. I learned to swim in the Guinea Gap baths, which is just about a mile down the road that way. I kid you not. Guinea Gap baths. Still there to this day. and my kids let them swim there as well. But I went delirious, and I was obviously in pain and shock, and I was cut to ribbons, and I lay there, and I remember this. I just saw this sea of glass and thought I was actually swimming through water, and it was just the light shining on the water, and so I began to do a front crawl, and did this, and I don't know. Well, you won't see it. There's a rather large scar there. I'm covered in scars. I've got better ones than this, but I'm not going to show you those scars. Not showing them scars. But that one, there was a huge pane of glass sticking out of my hand, and I went like that, and I saw that glass, and it went and fell out, and that's when I kind of woke up, and my mum came screaming, whoa, like the cleaner in Tom and Jerry, Thomas, with a big brush, and beating me with it. You broke the doors, and dragged me upstairs and threw me in the shower, and which is actually a good thing to do if you're not actually bleeding out. There's blood everywhere. Threw me in the shower and hosed me down to find where all the cuts were, and I had, fucking 10 million cuts all over my face and all over my body, everywhere, arms and legs, just sliced. But nothing was too deep. It was just very superficial. So it was like Psycho. The shower was on and blood was going. And I was like, you stupid little bastard. I'm bleeding out, and she's fucking slapping me. You stupid little sod. You broke the doors again. I was like, I'm getting slapped and spanked and I'm bleeding out. So yeah, this is what we started off on. But as I say, big Kilt Mama, she would have picked this up and she would have gone, this will not stay in the house. We are not having this. You're not summoning demons and Cenobites in my house. It would have gone. Oh, I miss my folks. I do. If they're looking down from wherever, or looking up, who knows? And when they're killed, I hope they're not fucking looking up, But I don't know what they'd make of all this. The Kilt-Man and the Kilt-Man channel, the Freedom Fridays. I think my dad would love it. I think he would. I think you guys have seen my mum. If you go back, God, quite a few years now, me and Big Kilt Mama, I'm getting the fucking names all wrong here. Me and Big Kilt Mama are actually on a few videos, but you've got to remember that she was actually at a point where dementia was actually not sort of diagnosed, but it was obvious something was going on, and she was forgetful, but she was still out and about and having a laugh with me. And there's loads of them in the pubs. Actually, I met my mum, or she came to meet me, and I'd do little videos, and she was great. It is what it is. So yeah, the mum's Irish, dad's family Scottish. And there you go. And this is what you produce. You don't need the Lament Configuration to create a demon. Just put Celts together, and suddenly you get a cunt in a kilt. Anyway, folks, I do recommend this. I do. It's a nice piece of kit. As I say, you can get customised versions which are sort of bigger, and they probably do a lot more puzzly stuff. But you want that? If people can't handle this, you can handle the truth. If people can't handle a very simple two-piece thing, which I now can't do. No, we're doing it again, Alley up. Up she rises. If people can't handle that, and then taking it out, and then going, like that. Then you go, ooh, there's phase 2. Look at that. Whoa. And then you can't put it back again. And then you bring it back. Oh, and I put it back to the wrong point. There you go. See, if you don't slap it down the right way, the pattern's going to be wrong on all the sides. So, but if you can't master that, then the big super technical ones, you've got no fucking chance, have you? And what's the point of buying them, which are going to cost you a hell of a lot of money, which you're not going to play around with? You're going to put it in a little glass globe, a little display case, and there it is. Well, you may as well have this, mate. You may as well have this. It's going to leave it there, not do anything with it. At least this, you can do something with it. And when you get guests come around, you go, can you work this? And they go like, and then like me mum, they go, oh fuck it, and throw through the fucking window here. No! Randy Miller, not Windy Miller. Randy Miller. That would have been an amazing kids TV show. It's Randy Miller. Chugging his cider and his date rape drug and all that, like, come here, Philly. His big bulbous red nose. Not just his nose. Anyway, folks, I have been always shall be Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, in this ever Cenobite summoning in between time, please keep it Kilted, keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you all later. It's worth it, you know. It's a great little prop. Looks good. Feels good. It feels good. Got some heft to it. It's just the base is shit. That is utter shit. Flimsy plastic naffness. But you know, you guys are creative. I'm sure you are. You can rig up a way of doing it. Just put it on the shelf. Boof. Perfect. No. Let's just finish off on this. The Hellraiser main theme by Christopher Young. See, already you can hear the depth and the brilliance, the assuredness of this, and the eeriness. And you see how throughout all this we didn't mention the remake, reboot. I think I reviewed it. It's big. It's grandiose. You literally don't get this sort of scoring. What Christopher Young does, and he's done many scores like this, like Species, sci-fi, but again it's so beautifully big, broad, gothic and huge, and then celestial at the same time, and this has elements of that. Christopher Young is one of my favourite living modern composers. Shall we do the next one? Yeah, let's do it. What the hell? What the hey? Isn't it gorgeous? There's such a sense of dread and yet beauty. You know, I know I shouldn't open the box or go in that room, but I'm drawn. Temptation. Of course, this is Frank Cotton being resurrected. All reverse photography, of course, like. The score's so big. I think this was the 80s. A lot of scores were like synth or small ensembles with synth sort of backing. And like stingers aplenty, which Christopher Young didn't do stingers for these movies at all. And I think you're in command of an orchestra and you're composing for a horror film, and they're thinking, oh god, it's going to be streaking violins and we're like, do stabbing, blurty stuff like. But the orchestra would have loved playing this because every element's in there. All the aspects of the orchestra are all coming together. They're all getting their moment to shine. And there is momentum and drive, It's such a huge set piece. So folks, live long and prosper, and look after your box. Laters.